Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. And look who I got to my right. That's him. It is Bob Jeswell, WRBL's chief meteorologist, who is guzzling down some great water here at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. So what have you been doing here, Bob, first off?
This is the annual Kids Summer Cover.
Okay.
It's the last stop in East Alabama. Food Bank of East Alabama is being supported. The great host here at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, and you guys here, it's good to meet you today, is an important venue because you have to have a place that believes in the mission.
Right.
And the kids are off from school, and when they're out of school, they're missing meals. They're skipping meals. They call food insecurity. So the meals that you typically get provided during the school year, they may skip a meal. Mom, dads are working, kids are at home, and that's not good. So nutrition is development. It's about education. It's health. And if they're missing a meal, that isn't good.
No, it's not. So I think this is awesome. So you're raising the foods and getting these donations. And who are you giving them to? Where are the proceeds going?
This particular, as we wrap up our Kids Summer Covered, we started in West Central Georgia, of course, 18 counties, along with Feeding the Valley Food Bank.
Awesome.
On the East Central Alabama side, we come up here in Opelika, and our host right here at Glenn Smith Chevrolet, and Food Bank of East Alabama. Food Bank East Alabama, crisis is real. It's happening everywhere in the United States, of course, and Feeding America is kind of the umbrella over it. But there's so many people that are saying, hey, the shelves are literally bare at the food pantry. And when you have these food pantries or are actually purchasing and having to buy food so people could come in and get it. I mean, for many different reasons, but specifically honed in on Kids Summer Covered, because the kids are what we're kind of focused on during this time of year.
Awesome, man. And listen, this guy's so beautiful. I'm telling you, I was just talking
you make
with
anybody
him.
feel good. You have a bad day, come talk to Thrift Behringer. Man, you're doing good.
Bob does an excellent job around here with Chattahoochee Connections.
Nice.
It's about the community support. You know, I keep talking over and over again. We're all about positivity here at Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And you love this community. When you came here so many years ago, did you know you would fall in love and would be here?
20 years. And before that, I was here in the very early 90s, from 91 to 93. And left.
So you were with Reese Davis around that time period,
In fact, I'll give you a Reese Davis story. And he remember, along with Bruce Snyder, Reese Davis, Jack Rogers, still here. He works for Piedmont. He's a head nurse over there. We used to play football at Lake Bottom Park. Who do you think was the quarterback out of the three names I just mentioned?
Reese?
Reese Davis.
Oh, wow.
He always played quarterback, you know.
With that good-looking hair.
Good-looking hair. And old Reese would be throwing that ball, and I'd be playing out there. I'd be like kind of the running back. Chris Capper was out there. Was another guy.
Hey, you're talking about the ultimate trash talker. You know Bobby Jazz. Get him in a Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills. Don't even get me started on Buffalo Bills. They're really doing good. That's my team. But we that was a lot of fun. There was a camaraderie we had, because we didn't have all this. We couldn't stream. There was no YouTube. There was none of that.
Right.
And so our time that we spent on a Sunday afternoon was to head down to Lake Bottom and let's play a little football.
Awesome, man. And now, being all these
and
years
even
later.
Dave, I wonder if Dave Plata did.
There's no doubt.
I think he did once. He came out a couple of times.
If he didn't, he was obviously probably talking about it. No doubt about it.
Because Bruce Snyder would come down. I remember he did. Yeah.
But being here for 20 years, loving this community, when you started Chattahoochee Connection, what was the idea behind doing something like that and always shining a light on all these cool things in the city that people may not know about?
Every market I worked, since the very first time I started TV in 1989, I was in Binghamton, New York. And I did the MDA telethon. I always liked to give back. I was a little kid. I just think because this is a privileged media, and if it's a privileged job, and I'm in your living room, there's a way we got to give back. And this is a way we could do it. And it brands your company. It brands WRBL. So WRBL gets a kick with it. And I think it's important. It shows that we're a giving station. And I'm part of that. Yeah, it helps me out, but it's because I enjoy it. I'm passionate about it.
Right.
So as years went on, and the time I came back here 20 years ago in 2006, and I'll give him credit. Carlos Williams, great guy. You know Carlos.
Love Carlos.
Carlos, the voice of so many.
Enjoying retirement right now.
Yeah, enjoying retirement, Carlos, my dear friend Carlos. But Carlos Williams, I always got it. When I met him, I'm like, Carlos, you're exactly what I believe in. But I'm the chief meteorologist, and Carlos was a guy in that respect. Carlos sort of did what I was doing. He was the connection to all that stuff. I did it in Vegas. I did it in other places. But as soon as Carlos was leaving, I always said to Carlos, when you retire someday, I want to take this over and take it in a different way. And he used to say, yeah, go for it. You can do it, tell you. But, it took a while for GMs to warm up. You're an on-air personality. You're not going to do it. And finally, Joe McGuire, our general manager, saw exactly if we can leverage what I do in the community, why not? Let's bring it home to people and show them how we can connect the community.
I love it, man, and I love watching it. I love what you do for small businesses, and again, thank you for just being our guy, our local
I
guy.
appreciate that
Even though
very
you're
much.
not from here, you claim Columbus, and
Yes.
now we got to talk about the weather. I'm going to ask you some hard questions. What's
Okay.
going on? Why is it bipolar? Why can't it make up its mind? Why, when I want it to rain, it doesn't rain? When I don't need it to rain, it does
It's a
rain.
pain.
It can't make up its mind.
No.
But for those out there, I know we had a tornado last week,
Yeah,
and those out there
Thursday,
that
18th.
complain about
Yeah.
the 6 straight days of rain, we need it because is it going to be a hot summer? What's
Yeah.
your thought on the weather? It's been
Okay.
the last couple
Well,
weeks.
no matter what, a summer, whether it's La Nina, El Nino. El Nino, like this right now, basically what's happening off the coast, you're seeing warmer waters, you're
Right.
getting more low pressure, you're going to get a less volatility, less chances of seeing development for hurricanes, but that doesn't mean you get one. If one springs up, you're going to have a doozy. Upper level winds are affected, and a lot of times it's rain and cooler as a result. You get
Right.
more cooler days. But we're going to have 90. Like yesterday, this is live now. Yesterday we had 101 degree at one time.
Yes, we
heat
did.
index value. Today's temperature of 80, upper 80s match the actual heat index value. So there's no real major heat index. So you're going to get a mixed bag of that. So this is a little drier air. This is a little unseasonal. But we'll return right back to the humidity and heat next week, and that's just the way it goes. But it is a phenomenon. It's oscillating patterns. They repeat every 4 years. Sometimes they go in cycles, and we monitor them. And there's all different kind of variances. News organizations like remember the polar vortex. They come up with these crazy names. They're great ways to get people to engage them to watch the news.
Right.
But they've been around for a while. The Earth is tilted wacky. We're going to always have that. But the main thing people got to understand is weather is always changing, and you should be tapped in every day. Every day tapped in. And when you can continue to give people good information, tell them the seriousness of like thunder and lightning. For 20 years, John Jensenius is one I can use for examples, part of the Lightning Safety Council,
Right.
National Lightning Safety Council. Used to work for NOAA, now he's independent. And he's up in Vermont now, but he has been pushing all the chiefs meteorologists at AMS conferences,
Right.
NWA conferences, to get that message out about tell people when you hear thunder, take cover. That old saying, you've heard it. Well, over 20 years, it's a truth. We've declined precipitously of deaths, lightning deaths, which is a great thing because people are listening, getting the message.
Can I ask you this,
Yeah.
though? And a few weeks ago, we're doing state championships. For
Right.
the GIAA, we had soccer and baseball for 5 straight days. Every day it rained, and every
Right.
day there's a lightning delay. And we don't see the lightning, but someone that's
Yes.
monitoring, a trainer, will see it within 8 miles that they have to delay the game. Then
Yes.
everybody gets mad. What are you talking about? The weather's fine. It's not raining. This is your time right now.
Okay.
And I'm one of those guys
Yes.
that tell me to calm down,
Calm down.
that there are the lightning is a serious thing, and that's something that
Yeah.
all schools got to take into precaution, because sometimes it gets upsetting. It's like, why are we waiting 30 minutes for
Yeah.
a lightning that's 7 miles away? Why is that important that schools take precaution?
Let me tell you why. We're not fear-mongering at all. Think about this. This is a fact. Most people get struck by lightning. Give you some examples. Las Vegas, a guy came up on the scene, clear as a bell, bolt from the blue it's called, up in the La Madre Mountains, the Spring Mountains on the West Valley, Vegas. One hit, went underground, hit conduit, killed a firefighter, killed the person out there. It happens. Mark Cantrell, school board, councilman.
Yes.
Or not councilman, he's a school board member, pardon me. Mark Cantrell, we did it, this is probably going almost 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago. He was sitting on his couch, got up from his couch. There was a thunderstorm in Chattahoochee County, and there was nothing in his front yard. Bolt of lightning comes out, sometimes at the anvil, the backside, usually not where the actual physical thunderstorm is, probably was about 15 miles out. And that bolt came down, hit the conduit of his irrigation system, came over, hit the wall, blew the wall out. If he was in his chair, Mark Cantrell wouldn't be here today. True
Jesus.
story, and you can see it. You can search it up on WRBL. These are just a few stories that are real. Most lightning strikes and kills. It's the first strike that gets you before it even. So when the sky is dark, why would you wait for the first clap of thunder? It's too late.
Right.
Thunder's a byproduct of lightning, speed of light, but it's the actual heating expansion. It's static electricity, and it expands, and that's it. It's inside that thunderstorm. So the theory of it's 2 miles away, 8 miles away is all nonsense.
Right.
Does not, when I hear people go, we're going to count, well, good for you. It does work. You can divide by 5, 2 by 5, or whatever. Oh, it's 5 miles away, 4.
Right.
If you hear thunder, you're in striking distance. End of story. Rolling thunder. the terminology is true,
Right.
but it's actually you're hearing sound waves are never the same. So you're hearing multiple sound waves from multiple thunderstorms. So there's multiple thunderstorms.
Right.
If you see lightning and a clear night like tonight, that's heat lightning. The term is correct, but it's not real. It's not such thing as heat lightning. It's a physical thunderstorm. It's light reflecting through the atmosphere
Gotcha.
over the curve of the earth. It could be 30 miles away. And if you don't hear the thunder, it's not coming at you and there's no threat of lightning. But if you hear thunder, you're in striking distance. So throw out these coaches and they get mad. 8 miles away, 2 miles are worth it's 10 miles. We don't evacuate until it's 8 miles. Nonsense. If it's 15 miles, you're at just as much of a risk if it's 2 miles away.
And one instance
Yeah.
is bad enough. We don't
Correct.
need 30 million. One instance can be bad enough. Bob,
Yes.
thank you so much
got
for
it, brother.
educating us. Thank you for what
Yeah.
you do. How can everybody watch you? How can they follow you on social
Yes.
media? Go ahead, shameless plug.
Sure,
man.
great. Bob Jeswald, that's the name Bob Jeswald, JESWLD Community, Chattahoochee Connections with Bob Jeswald, Chief Meteorologist Bob Jeswald, weather to be updated on weather pages, my team, WRBL First Alerts, that's
Yep.
our other page too, you can follow us at WRBL, and all the team. My team's great, I got one of the best staffs, and they're awesome. I can be off and they can track a tornado like they did in Upatoy Midland last Thursday. There you go.
His name's Bob
Appreciate
Jeswald.
it.
Thank you so much for stopping
Yeah.
by. We'll take a break. We'll be back here on
Appreciate it.
Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show.
Pleasure, it's an honor.
Hey everybody, hot summer prices have dropped at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Drive home today in a brand new GMC Sierra 1500 with savings up to $15,750 off MSRP. Or get 0% financing for 60 months. Need more power? New GMC Sierra 2500 HD with savings up to $10,000 off MSRP. Or get 4.9% financing for 60 months. Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Life's a cruise, that's the move.
Hey everybody, hot summer prices have dropped at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Drive home today in a brand new Chevy Silverado with savings up to $15,000 off MSRP. Or get 0% financing for 60 months. Need more power? New Silverado 2500 HD with savings up to $12,000 off MSRP. Or get 4.9% financing for 60 months. Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone. Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. How fun was that, getting Bob Jeswald? He gave us some good nuggets. You know, I was one of those guys that was always mad. 8 miles away? Come on. Why are we delaying the game? Are you kidding me? I used to get fire mad And now Bob told me to shut up. Hey, listen, if you hear thunder, you're in striking distance, shut up, get out of the way, and let the kids be safe.
It's a meteorologist like Bob Jeswald that keeps my family safe as we had the tornadoes there was going through Midland and Upatoy last week, and knowing, because the sirens didn't go off, that we had to go seek shelter. And so we appreciate Bob Jeswald and the fantastic job he does at WRBL with the weather. And it's great. And he can talk about other stuff too. And it was a great interview you just did with him. And also, lifelong Buffalo Bills fan. Had to mention the Bills, especially on a sports show.
You just got fired. We don't mention them. No, I'm just kidding, Rich. How you been?
Are you serious?
Rich is wearing his new Georgia Alabama Sports Live shirt. I just fired Richard live on air just for saying Buffalo Bills. Hey, we're from Glenn Smith Chevrolet
12 times already?
GMC. No, probably 30 million. Giant truck and SUV sales going on. Choose from hundreds of new and used trucks, SUVs on the ground and on the way. All kinds of trucks, 4x4s, crew cabs, regular cabs, gas burner, and diesels. Plus, we're loaded with Chevy and GMC. When you come here, Rich, what do?
Get ready to smile.
So come right now. They got heavy duties, 2,500, 3,500s right now. I'm a GMC guy. Chevys, I'm telling you, they are the best trucks around. I don't recommend any other truck or big SUV. And listen, Glenn Smith is not just a local brand. It's a national brand, dude. People come from across the country, not just across the region here. It's Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. They're the OG. They're the reason why I am so loyal. They've been there from the very beginning. Jerry Potter, I was telling him how much I love him today. He saw what we had before we had it. And we appreciate Glenn Smith being on board for all these years, Rich.
Yeah, Jerry Potter saw the vision that we had, and he wanted to be on board with what we do. That's why we do a show up here once a month, because we want to give back. We appreciate everything that they do here at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC, and their showroom is fantastic. And not too far if you're from the Columbus area. It's just 45 minutes up the road, up in Opelika. And, yeah, we appreciate everything that Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC does.
All right, Rich, let's talk about what we did this past weekend. We were live, both of us, from South Commons area. I was in the Civic Center. You were at United. And we saw the Lions pick up a big win. Down at halftime, Little Scrappy performs. Damian Daniels says, wake up. And the Lions get a big win. They went up by 14, finished the regular season undefeated. They're heading into the playoffs against Mississippi next week. Beat Jersey in a really good game, 54-40. Had a big stop there in the end, an interception return for a touchdown that kind of sealed it and put them up by 2 scores. So big win for the Damian Daniels. 9-0 are his Lions. And how about United? Played really tough against the number 1 team in the league against Dothan.
Yeah, Chase Jackson scored that goal in the 15th minute. And Martin Dominguez had like 8 saves in the match. Dothan United was relentless. In the second half, they actually owned the time of possession, and they were on the attack. They did get the game-tying goal, but Martin Dominguez with incredible saves, and United escapes with a point. Now they've got 2 road games where they'll be going on the road, actually at Protective Stadium in Birmingham. So taking on Birmingham Legion FC2. And then they're going to be taking on Montgomery United FC. And then their finale will be July the 11th against East Atlanta FC. So looking forward to how the season plays out. Year 2 in the USL. Great soccer players like Sako Kanate. He is fantastic. He is one of those 6'6" athletes who is a striker. And then you also have Nick Gettridge. And I got to tell you, I was so happy to see E.J. Siraj get some playing time in that second half. The former Brookstone Cougar, who you called one of his goals in the state championship. And he is now a member of Columbus United. And I mentioned it before. I want to mention it again because he was on the Columbus United roster in 2024.
Yep.
Braden Wood, the kicker for the Columbus Lions, I believe he's the only person to play for multiple teams in Columbus. He played for the Rapids in 2021. He's the kicker for the Columbus Lions, and he was on the roster for Columbus United FC in 2024.
Well, Rich, we look forward to seeing their last home game July 11th. The last home game for the Columbus Lions, Richard, will be this Saturday.
This Saturday.
And guess who's performing?
Pastor Troy.
Pastor Troy is going to
Wow.
be in the building at halftime. We'll be doing the live from Poor Decisions Columbus Lions Coaches Show tomorrow night. Looking forward to being there. So had fun doing that. And then, Richard, earlier in the day on Saturday, we were live from Box Circle. I forgot the name of the complex that we're at. You know, Richard.
It's the KBW Gymnasium.
KBW Gymnasium. And J.R. Anderson and his blacksmith training put on the Summer Jam Ultimate 1v1 Challenge. We had 4 incredible games. We saw Little Man come back after losing last time to Quez. He was able to win 31-6 over Jeff. Richard, we were able to see some other big-time games that include Dom, who's from CSU. He took on Drew Hill, was able to take down Drew in a fantastic game. Dom can play. He got some moves. He just graduated, Dominic did, from CSU. And then the other 2 games, Richard, we did were...
Well, I know that we did Peasy and Preacher.
I think that's what that was the main game.
That was the main game.
Went down to the wire. Peasy ended up winning that. He may be the best one-on-one player that we have right now. And we also had Quez taking on Duke. Duke is he played for Guatemala last year, put up 35 points a game. You can tell he's a pro. He was able to take down Quez. So a lot of fun that we got to do these one-on-one challenges. You can go back and watch it on my personal Facebook page, Richard. I know you had fun doing it as well.
I did have fun. 1v1, always great. And, you know, the basketball is so great in this area. In fact, we might have a former Spencer Greenwave drafted in the NBA tonight or Wednesday, Jalen Sellers. So we know that the basketball is fantastic in this area, and it's great to see these basketball players give back to the community, showcase their talent, play at the next level, and we might end up having one of those local products drafted in the NBA.
And by the way, we will be cheering for Jalen Sellers, who he didn't win a championship, but did make it to.
He was on that 17-2. That was the COVID year.
Yeah. That team had Jalen Sellers,
Tony Montgomery.
They had that team was absolutely loaded. So glad that we were able to see that. Glad that we got to do that one-on-one, and we also got Sitting with Athletic Director. It'll be dropping tonight, another edition. Tim Fanning and the Glenwood Gators.
Yes.
What a year for them. His 4th straight baseball state championship. We were able to sit down with him. You're going to see that separately from this show. It's called Sitting with Athletic Director, State of the Programs. We also got to talk with Phil Jones, and that's going to be coming up next. We actually pre-recorded that earlier, and we're live here from Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. When we get back from this break, you'll see Phil Jones in our interview, and we had a lot of fun sitting down with him. We were able to talk high school football around the area, obviously some of the local teams, how they're going to do in each classification, who are some of the favorites in their respective classifications, how's Harvard going to do. We talked about Jordan and how they've had their struggles over the years, and how do you go about improving those areas. And then Richard even asked some questions on why football coaches like Joey King get paid so much.
It's well deserved. I'm not saying that he's overpaid. I'm just saying that he is, stating the facts, he is the highest paid football coach in the state of Georgia. And Carrollton was the state runners-up last year, so when is that return on investment going to pay off? So there is some pressure for him to win a state championship.
So we also have, after Phil Jones, we'll come back. We'll have Blair Harrison. I'll introduce him. I'm able to talk to the head football coach of Smith Station for his All-Valley 7-on-7 tournament tomorrow. 6 teams of local teams are in it. Actually, Lochapoka is really the only non-local team. 5 local teams. Spencer, Shaw, Columbus, Smith Station, Harris County, Lochapoka all playing in the All-Valley 7-on-7. We will broadcast that tomorrow. We talked to Blair Harrison ahead of that. And then I was able to sit down with Garrett Payton from Coca-Cola as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, Phil Jones interview here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Hey everybody, hot summer prices have dropped at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Drive home today in a brand new Chevy Silverado with savings up to $15,000 off MSRP. Or get 0% financing for 60 months. Need more power? New Silverado 2500 HD with savings up to $12,000 off MSRP. Or get 4.9% financing for 60 months. Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Welcome in and welcome back to the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show. And as I made mention earlier in our show that we had an opportunity to interview Phil Jones. And that is what this segment is going to be about for Behringer Richard Holdridge. And let's go ahead and bring him on, the man himself. He is of ITG Next, and he is Mr. High School Sports, mainly Mr. High School Football in the state of Georgia. Phil, how are you doing, man?
Hey, I'm great, guys. Thanks so much for having me on again.
No doubt, man. And as I mentioned, everyone, he's going to be a staple on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show. Phil, how's the offseason been? Have you been able to go out and see any 7-on-7? What have you been up to here as you get ready for this upcoming season?
Yeah, man, it's now we haven't actually been out on site, but we have a lot of teams that submit video and information to us, so we're able to keep up with what's going on. There's no problem there. But listen, this has probably been one of the busier off seasons, and I think it seems like I say that every year, and it's no accident. I mean, high school football, and this is what I tell everybody, guys. High school football has really become year round. I know you guys have seen it. I mean, we host a weekly show where high school football dominates the conversation all year long. People want to talk about it. Teams are doing something, all season long now. 7-on-7s, the OTAs are really starting to become much bigger. And I think that's probably where you're going to see more teams spend their time in the off season in the years to come is with these OTAs. But to answer your question, man, we've been all over it this off season. It's been busy.
Phil, as we start getting closer and closer to the upcoming season, I do want to pick your brain on the purpose
opening comments. And so I think that's the benefit. It's not all bad on 7-on-7, as Coach said, but there's a lot of both benefit and some bad things about it. But that also, I think, is going to lead to us seeing more of the organized team activities. And of course, we can talk about that as we move forward.
Phil, another exciting high school football season is a couple of months away. We got a new reclassification. 7A is back. The only difference is they did away with Class 1A, Division 1 and Division 2. We now have Class 1A and Class 2A.
Thank goodness.
But as you're looking at these upcoming teams and how they could compete, I mean, we saw Buford and Carrollton. We were there at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That felt like a college atmosphere. It was just massive. We have these fan bases from these metro areas, but we also have these small towns where the entire town shuts down to go support their team. Just talk about that vibe, that atmosphere of getting back to the grind of covering high school football in Georgia.
Yeah, man, we're right in the middle of actually doing our preseason rankings.
Nice.
And I just did the Class A preseason rankings where I like Clinch to be the team to start off the year. A quick comment about that thing about the Class A reclassification. Number one, I'm so glad we got rid of the Division 1, Division 2 thing. It was so confusing. And so I'm glad we've gotten rid of that. But guys, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but man, there was a lot of teams, especially Class A Division 1, that moved out of Class A.
Right.
Yeah.
So most of your Class A, what's left now in the new reorganized Class A, or I should say the new reclassified Class A, is mostly teams that were from the Division 2 side of Class A. So, you got your Swainsboroughs that are gone, and there's a bunch of the good teams, Worth County, of course, And I think we're going to talk about the new region that Worth County's a part of. So there's a lot of your former Class A teams now that have moved out of Class A and have moved up to either AA or even AAA. But so I like the Class A teams, man. This is the heart of high school football, Richard, like you did in Thrift, like you talked about in your opening comments. These Class A teams, man, this is where the town shuts down. Everybody's going to be at the football game on Friday night. And so I love Class A, and I'm a big believer, and I don't care how many A's your school has in front of it. If a team can play, if a guy can play, he can play. I just hate this thing about Class A teams. You shouldn't have them, ranked in, and sometimes we do an all classification, top 25. People said, like last year I had Worth County ranked in the top 10, all classifications. People said, you can't do that. I'm like, why not? So anyway, I just love small town high school football. And that's one of the reasons we started with Class A. But yeah, I had Clinch at the top. I think they're going to be the team to beat in Class A this year.
All right, well, let's talk about some of the classifications that got some of our local schools in it.
Okay.
And we'll first start with a 3A classification. And in that region, listen to this region. And we talked a little bit about this last time we had you on, Phil. Carver, Columbus, Cook County, Chris County, shout out Justin Newman, Jordan, Kendrick, Sumter County, and Worth County. That's a lot of really good schools in there. That region, in my opinion, probably the toughest in 3A. When you talk 3A classification as a whole, and then we'll get into this region, who is your favorite? I feel like it's got to be Carver, even though Worth was a state champion in the classification lower than Carver in 1A, and now they're 3A. What's your thoughts on that classification? Who do you think some of the favorites are?
I think two of the teams you just mentioned there, and it's kind of funny, they're going to be in the same region, and that's that one AAA region is Carver and Worth. By the way, that region's going to have a little bit of everything in it. I mean, you got a couple of teams that are really struggling. You got Crisp counties in there, which I think they're going to be really good this year. But no, there's no doubt the top two teams I think in AAA, or at least two of the top two teams, are in that same region, and I think that's Worth County and Carver. I think both those teams are going to be strong once again this year, and it's going to be a treat having them in the same region.
Well, go ahead, Richard.
Phil, I want to talk about the other schools that we cover in Columbus. They go from 2A to 4A. Hardaway, Columbus, Spencer, and Shaw are now in 4A with the likes of Westover, Monroe, Doherty, Cairo, and Bainbridge. Now, some of these schools were 3A schools last year. Do you feel like these schools now in 4A, which really used to be 3A, can compete? And we talk about the travel that these Columbus schools have to face because they've been blessed the last 2 years.
I want to add something real quick, Richard, because I just want to add on to that. I'm sorry. I know it upsets you when I do this.
Last 2 years.
Let me add this. I really want to know, Phil, and I'm sorry, Rich, but it has been grinding my gears. You know, when I get grinded and I get mad, I got to say it. How in God's green earth is Troup County not in the same region as the Columbus schools? I look at these regions, Mary Persons, Troup County, Upson Lee are closer than Daugherty, Bainbridge, Monroe,
Come on now.
Westover. How do they go about putting these together? I thought it's geographically. Phil, make it make sense. Richard, continue.
Doesn't make sense? No, Thrip, it doesn't make sense. But the last 2 years, we had 7 of the 8 Muskogee County schools all in 2A together, and that was truly a blessing. But now they're spreading all of them out, and they're traveling on the road down to Albany, which makes absolutely no sense. There was a time where I remember LaGrange, Troup County, Northside, Harris County, they were all in the same region together. So I don't get that. I really would like to see Pike County, Upson Lee, possibly those schools, Lamar County. I actually would like to see some of those 3A schools that are near Macon. It makes sense to have Macon schools and Columbus schools being in the same region rather than Albany. But would you agree?
Yeah, guys, I got to be honest with you. This conversation, this type of conversation, no matter, and it seems to affect every classification in some region of the state or other, but this conversation comes up every year. I will say that GHSA has tried to, put forth an effort to try to make things as balanced as possible from a competitive standpoint. But then when you start to get into the logistics and the travel, that's where things really start to get out of whack. So I think it's a matter of you can't really have everything you want. I think they're trying to make it again. I think from a competitive standpoint, they're trying to make these regions and classifications as competitive as possible. But I'll give you an example. And I know you guys are wanting to ask me about 3A and 4A, but we've had this quandary down here in the part of the state that I live in. You've got the region that has Camden County, Richmond Hill in the same region with Colquitt County. Do y'all know how far a drive that is for those schools? And remember, we're not just talking about football. That's the thing you got to remember. So anyway, I just point that out real quick to say that's kind of symbolic of some of the challenges that I think the GHSA faces. And Richard, to your question, Thrift, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, these guys battle this. These being the reclassification committee, they battled this every 2 years really, trying to find the right balance, and it's just not very easy. And it does blow your mind with how they get some of these schools in the same region and same classifications like you were talking about.
When you go about as a coach, and we talked about this a little bit off air, Phil. We got some programs that have struggled in the past. There's no hiding it here. Jordan High School has not won a game since 2019. But I know Central of Macon has not won a game in a few years. Central Tarleton has struggled. And I'm talking about football-wise, when honestly for many programs, it can be your biggest money getter if done right, but it also can cost you a lot of money when not done right. How do programs go about fixing that? I see Jordan, they're in the 3A classification. They moved up, and obviously when they do classification, it's about population size, not about winning and losing, because if that was the case, Columbus High School, who won the Directors Cup in all of 2A last year, they win in every sport, and in football, they had a decent year at 7-3. They would have moved up higher if it's off of how it used to be, but now they do it about numbers. But how do we get these programs that haven't won games? And I feel bad for those coaches. I feel bad for those players. And I feel like the competitive balance is not there. What would your advice be, and how would you go about fixing programs that have not won in a long time, giving them an opportunity to be successful?
Well, there's a couple of solutions, and this is, you're really starting to talk drastic changes, okay?
Right.
But let's take Jordan for example. Okay, so Jordan has not won a football game since 2019. Is that right?
That is correct.
Wow, bless their hearts, man. And I'm not saying that to be a smart aleck. That's awful, and there should be no excuse for that. Here's the thing: two things that come to mind. You hope that eventually the cyclical nature of things will take over. And what I mean by that is, if you look at, say, Houston County, okay, let's just use Houston County Bears, Houston County High School as an example. Okay, they were really at the bottom of football for a long time in that area. Now they're one of the best teams in the Warner Robins Houston County area. Same with Perry High School. Okay, a lot of people didn't even realize Perry was in Houston County. Now they won a state championship not long ago. So you hope that eventually the cycle will hit to where, hey, we'll strike upon a really good balance and have a good season. But it looks like in the case of Jordan, I don't know that that's feasible. I got to be honest with you. You've got to seriously take a look. And, man, this is not what these coaches want to hear. But you got to take a serious look at maybe stepping down and doing maybe 8-man football,
I will tell you this, Phil, real quickly. By the way, I don't mean to want to correct you. I just know people are going to message you. They call it Jordan down here. Jordan High School. I don't know why, but it is. I promise you. You say Jordan and Columbus area, they're going to be, nope, that's Jordan High School. But they are doing an independent schedule this year. So they are not really competing in that region, and they're going to be playing some GIAA schools. They try to schedule schools around the state that have similar deficiencies and honestly have not won games just like they have. Problem is they can't compete for anything, but at this point, is that what you're saying they kind of need to do? You got to start winning and getting the momentum going and people wanting to support it again before you can actually talk about actually winning maybe a championship or region or whatever it may be.
100%. And I didn't realize they were doing that. I'm glad. It does my heart good to hear you actually say that they're going to take that approach this year. Now, will this be the first year they're scaling that schedule down like that?
Yeah, this is the first year. So last year, obviously they've been in the same region with all the other Columbus schools. Before that, they've been in 2A for the last several seasons. And people were wondering, like, all right, at this point, they're getting beat by 30, 40 points every game. Are they going to move down? Are they what are they going to do to give these kids an opportunity? And that's why the 8-man was such a great idea because of the roster size. But they decided against that, and they want to do an independent schedule.
Well, so let me ask you this. So they were in what classification last year?
2A.
Okay. So the reason I was asking that, it's unfathomable that they would actually move up. I would think that they would have petitioned the GHSA, appealed to stay down or move down, but I guess that's not an option for them.
It is not. They were, again, in the same region as all the other Muskogee County schools except Northside. From my understanding, and same Northside was one of those other schools here locally that tried to appeal. Northside moved up, and they are, out of all our local Georgia schools, they're in the highest classification. Harris County's next, and then all the Muskogee County schools are split up between 3A and 4A. We didn't understand that with Jordan, but Northside was denied the appeal, and same with Jordan. And I guess a lot of that had to do with the school size and the population size. But again, what good is it doing seeing this team get beat over and over again? And it's not helping the program grow. And I don't want kids leaving the school or anything else, Phil. So I know everyone, all hands are on deck. They are trying their hardest. I promise you. Everyone at Jordan is trying their hardest to get this thing right. They're on I think, what coach is this? Third head coach in the last 4 seasons, or maybe fourth head coach. So we're excited about the guy that's coming in. He's got a lot of energy. But obviously this independent schedule, we hope, will give them an opportunity to be successful.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going on the right track, at least. They're going to try this scaled down schedule, and hopefully it'll be a little bit easier. But you said it, Thrift. They need some wins. However it comes about, I don't care if they're playing Sisters of the Poor or whatever. They need some wins to build up the confidence of the student body. I'm surprised that they still have players that want to come out and play. I hate to say that, but that's what losing will do to your program. I mean, it is just it's a cancer. Okay. So they need to start getting some wins. Let's see how this season develops, if they're able to get some momentum going, and then, just play it year by year right now is all they can do. Take it year by year, season by season, and see what works.
I will tell you, looking at their schedule real quick, Richard, when we're going to move on from Jordan, I didn't want to make this is not a bash, Jordan. My granddad coached there for years. I'm talking about years. My entire family graduated from there. My grandparents' house is literally right behind Jordan High School. It is a big part of my life. So it does hurt me to see them not win any games. And I know the AD and everyone involved there want this to work. I'm trying to figure out some solutions. But here, they do play Columbus High, but then they got Central of Macon. They have not won a game in 2 years. Terrell County has not been very good the last several seasons. Chattahoochee County won 1 game last year, and it was
made the playoffs last year.
Oh, excuse me, made the playoffs. I apologize. Year before that is when they struggled. Greenville, Calhoun County, Heritage out of the GIAA, who won 1 game last year. Baconton Charter, Kendrick High School, and then Southwest Georgia STEM Charter. So I feel like there's some wins on there potentially for them. Obviously playing some smaller schools, some private schools as well. I feel like can give them an opportunity to at least be in the game. That's the biggest thing. Going in and seeing in the second half, Jordan have an opportunity to win will change the trajectory of how these kids think. And trust me, I've been on losing teams. It's not good for a kid's psyche at all. I know it happens, but eventually you want everyone, all those underdog stories to come out of that. So with that schedule, Phil, do you think there's an opportunity?
100%. I think you said it. There's some wins in there that'll give them a chance to get some momentum going. And is that going to be a 2-year schedule like everybody else is doing in GHSA? Is that how that's going to work?
Yeah, it is.
So they'll actually have a 2-year beta system, a beta test, if you will, to see how this works.
All right, let's continue moving on. Richard?
Yeah, thank you. Phil, I do want to talk about coaches and their salaries in the state of Georgia. It's known information that Joey Keene is the highest paid coach in the state of Georgia at Carrollton. You have Josh Niblett up there. You've got some big-time coaches, which means, that those fan bases expect a return on investment.
Now with Colorado, but he was with Gainesville. He was with Gainesville.
I was just going off on an old list, but that's okay. I knew Joey Keene was the highest. Couldn't really get that to phase my point. So right. Joey Keene, the highest paid. Well, obviously the fan base there at Carrollton, I guess they fall under the Carrollton City Schools. They're not the Carroll County school system. That's why he was able to get a salary like that. And I'm wondering, will that include like him paying his staff members and talking about like that return on investment when you have a coach that is the highest paid coach in the state of Georgia?
Yeah, look, it just talks to the state of high school football. I think we may have talked about this in a previous show where, you guys were talking about, where's the best high school football in the country? I think it's in the state of Georgia. You've had people outside the state who have talked about that. So with it being such a competitive sport, with it being such a revenue producer that it is, I think you're going to continue to see the state and schools able to attract top tier coaches. Now, here's an interesting thing though, Richard and Thrift. Even with Georgia coaches being probably the best compensated in the country, or at least among the most compensated in the country, there's still quite a lot of turnover. Georgia does have a lot of turnover. 100 plus coaches every year change, meaning, and it's head football coaches I'm talking about. So that's kind of a little, kind of a sidebar, if you will. But nevertheless, to your point, the Georgia high school football is such a high commodity, that I think you're going to continue to see schools do whatever it takes. Look, you're starting to see higher salaries. You're starting to see schools build these indoor facilities, guys. Those things are going up like crazy. So it's a matter of doing whatever it takes to make your football program more competitive.
Well, Phil, we appreciate you coming on. You make our show a much better show. And we look forward to having you on again throughout the summer, and we'll have more of these conversations. We'll wrap it up with this. Carver, obviously, we talked about them religiously. We talked about how tough their schedule is upcoming, but I do want to rein in that 4A classification. Columbus plays in a region with Bainbridge, Cairo, Daugherty, Monroe, and Westover. Shaw, Spencer, Hardaway, and Columbus are the four Muscogee County schools that are playing in. There's 9 teams in that region. What do you know about Bainbridge? I know that they got a guy that's very familiar to this area and coaching, and his name used to coach at Central. I cannot believe it. I forgot his name right now.
Jamie DuBose.
Jamie DuBose is there. We got Cairo, Daugherty, and Monroe, plus Westover. How tough is this region going to be for those Columbus schools that are watching right now and fans not knowing what they're getting into next year?
Okay, so you've got Cairo coming off its best season in a long time. David Coleman is the coach there, and he has very quietly and unassumingly done a great job leading the Syrup Makers, which, by the way, got to be in the top 3 of mascot names in the state of Georgia. Syrup Makers, right? But from a football standpoint, they're probably, I would think, going to be the top dog in that region. You asked me about Bainbridge. Bainbridge now used to be year over year a very competitive program, but they've fallen off the last couple of years. And you mentioned Jamie DuBose has taken over there. So I don't know. The question mark is still surrounding Bainbridge football, but traditionally they've been a very solid program. But again, they've gone through a couple of very lean years. But I think to answer your question, Cairo is going to be the top dog. They're going to be the team to beat of the 2 teams that you asked me about. That's what fans need to know about.
Phil, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, Ben. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I look forward to hopping on your show. It's going to happen, and looking forward to having you back on here real soon. Thanks, Phil.
Standing invitation. Thank you for having me, guys.
That's the great Phil Jones, man. I know he's a mentor and a guy you look up to, someone
Yes.
I look up to, and he does an amazing job with ITG Next. And we love our potential partnership and our growth with ITG and getting the names of all the local schools out there. And he's a statewide commodity. So anytime he can come on this show, it only elevates it, and love being able to talk to him.
Yeah, no question about it. It was a great interview. I enjoy watching the Extra Point on Mondays, where he does a fantastic job covering high school football around the entire state of Georgia. And we get informed and schooled every time he comes on the show.
All right, we're going to take another break. We'll come back Richard and I are live from Glenn Smith, wrapping up here what has been a fantastic show with Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We'll be right back after this.
Hey everybody, hot summer prices have dropped at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Drive home today in a brand new GMC Sierra 1500 with savings up to $15,000 and $750 off MSRP. Or get 0% financing for 60 months. Need more power? New GMC Sierra 2500 HD with savings up to $10,000 off MSRP. Or get 4.9% financing for 60 months. Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Welcome back to the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show, and I told you I had a special guest. It's the lead man of the Smith Station Panthers. He's my good friend. It is Blair Harrison, and he's here to talk about the All-Valley 7-on-7 and how the offseason's going. Coach, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Excellent, brother. So first things first, how's the offseason been? You feel like, unlike last year where you were rushing into everything, you've had a lot more time with your new staff. Do you feel like the offseason's been up to standard so far?
Yeah, I think we've gotten the most out of it that we can. I like where we are. I've never probably said in June that we're ready to put on pads, but I think this group's ready to put on pads, which means that's real premature. So because we have another month, but I think we're ready. We've been since we lost last week of October, we've really been grinding, and I think we're tired. We're about to take a little break after this week, but come July, I think that we're going to be heading in the right direction.
Have you been able to do any other team camps aside from this 7-on-7? What does the summer look like so far for y'all?
Yeah, we've had a couple teams over, scrimmage back and forth a little bit. Some things I've never done, and they were good for us. And we got to go to Georgia Tech, and we got to see some really good Georgia teams. That was probably an experience our kids will never forget. But we definitely saw what the next level looks like and where we need to be. And, so it's humbling, but, you want to probably perform better in the win-loss, but we competed with those big schools and, we scored points and, we just, sometimes speed just takes over those 7-on-7s.
When you do 7-on-7 with you being a wing team guy, what are you trying to get out of that? What are some of the things you try to work on in that, knowing y'all run heavy offense when the season starts?
That's a great question because a lot of people ask me that. We do it for our defense because our defense is having to play these offenses all the time.
Right.
So it's number one, our defense. Number two, I like to see our offensive guys compete. I want to see my quarterback throw into tight windows, make good reads, and see who's going to go compete for the football. So, whether we win or lose, all those things are happening, and we're finding players. I told the guys today, I said we found some players, this month at 7-on-7. So come ready tomorrow to play because you never know when you're going to get your shot.
Coach, last time we talked to you, we were at Slim Chickens. That's where they're going to be the home for the Smith Station Coaches Show. It is Blair Harrison's favorite lunch spot. Trust me, if you go to Slim Chickens, you may run into Blair Harrison. Look at that. I'm telling you, they're going to name a meal after you, Coach. But when we talked to you, you were super excited about the developmental part for your middle school, your JV team. How crucial is that now the entire system's buying into the Blair Harrison offense And now when they're coming up to high school, they're going to understand what they're going to be playing in.
Well, this week's been a very special week and last week, but today was a very special day. We had all of our football players on campus practicing at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just great to see. We had well over 125 kids on this campus this morning practicing football for Smith Station. That's one of my favorite accomplishments so far is revamping our middle school program, starting a freshman team. So now we have a 7th grade team, an 8th grade team, a freshman team, that's standalone, a JV team, and a varsity team. So, and we're not where we need to be numbers wise to really support like a full JV team, to be honest, but because
right.
Keeping all of our freshmen down. But I mean, I'm just excited to see what's going to happen in a couple of years when they're getting, I guess my system, like you say, taught, 2 or 3 years before they get to me. And I think it's going to be a lot smoother of a process going forward. The strength and speed still needs to get, better, but we're working on that every day. And I think when you see our team this year, people are already talking about how much we're bigger, just physically looking, but we still got to play. But we are going to be able to take the licks a little bit more, maybe give some that we couldn't give last year. But just being building something from the ground up, it's just been special. I've never really been a part of something so special like here at Smith Station and what they're committed to do and what everybody wants.
That's one of the big things too that I've heard is like the feeder system. It's one of the advantages that you got. Not everyone has that, especially in Georgia, some of the public schools. So being able to tap into the younger generation, so they're not coming brand new, learning 9 different other plays and offenses, and it's like you're having to start over with scratch. You don't seem like you have to do that now. But let's talk about this 7-on-7 All Valley. I'm excited about it. 6 teams in it. Smith Station, Columbus, Harris County's Pool A. Pool B's got Spencer, Lochapoka, Shaw. So what can you tell us about this? What are some of the rules in place, and how's it going to go tomorrow, Coach?
Well, we're going to do a little pool play at the beginning of the morning. You got 2 pool play games in a row, and then we're going to seed that. And we're going to play a crossover game, and then we're going to seed it. And we're just going to play the 1 seeds versus the 1 seeds, 2, 3. So we've got 4 games scheduled for all teams. And I think all the coaches coming in, it's been a long month. I think we've all been on the road doing some things. We're ready for it to come to an end. 4 games is going to be plenty. Yeah. And so, just looking forward to a little competition, a little local competition. We don't really know what anybody has, but I would think that we're all somewhat similar. So it should be like a lot of fun. I mean, and we have the facility last year at Otis Spencer, which is a wonderful facility. We got going over there, and it got so hot that like our feet were burning off of us. So they canceled it again.
Right.
But here, we're going to have a covered facility if anything, jumps up on us. But I think we're going to be fine tomorrow. And we got 2 grass fields too, so we got plenty of room. And we're just going to run it pretty fast and get some work in and get everybody closer to the break.
We'll start tomorrow at 9:30, kicking off in that Impact Center. That is the indoor facility, Smith Station in Columbus. And we're going to try to get every school that we can. And then, as Blair mentioned, we'll have that championship round, if you will, the final round at 11:30. Coach, is it open to this spectators and people in the community to come out and watch if they want to?
Yes. I mean, you could come in. We're going to rope off half the indoor facility so people could stand around and watch. It's not, it's not built for spectators. It's built for practice, which we've gotten a lot of use out of it with all this rain. And then outside on the practice fields, you can stand around and watch, just like if you were at a camp, at an Auburn camp or a Troy camp or a Georgia Tech. So parents are welcome. It's going to be tight in the Impact. Just go ahead and give you a heads up on that. But we're going to try to make it as comfortable as we can for everybody. And Coach Easton's doing a great job of trying to make this thing, our first one here, try to make it, a good experience for everybody.
I'm excited about it. And don't forget, all things Smith Station, Slim Chicken, Smith Station Game of the Week. We got Slim Chickens hosting the Smith Station Coaches Show, and there was nobody happier than the man right now on screen, Blair Harrison, when I got this. Blair, thank you so much, man, and I appreciate you allowing us to be there. And love you, man, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow early in the morning at the Impact Center.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for all you do. Love you guys, too. Appreciate it.
That's Blair Harrison. That's the Smith Station head football coach. We're going to be there tomorrow for the All Valley 7-on-7. Starts at 9:30. Get to see Coach Harrison's team. We get to see Joe Kegler and Spencer. We get to see Johnny Gardner and Shaw. We get to see Harris County, Coach Tommy Watson. How about Lo Chapoca in the building? And the surprise team of the entire area last year, Robert Peters and Columbus High. We're going to take a break. We got more here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show from Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this, but first, we got to pay some bills. We'll be right back after this.
Life's a cruise, that's the move.
Welcome in and welcome back, everyone. It's Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Had fun with Blair Harrison. You saw that from Phil Jones. And we're going to go ahead and say bye here from Glenn Smith. We still have a little bit left. Don't go anywhere. To wrap up the show, I was able to talk with Coca-Cola's Garrett Payton, and his partnership with us over the last year has been incredible, and looking forward to seeing them, Rich.
Yeah, looking forward to that interview. What a show. What a time to be here at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC.
Thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure, hot off the press, June prices have dropped. Save $15,000 on MSRP, 0% financing for the first 60 months. Are you kidding me? 2026 Chevrolet Silverado, and then 4.9% financing for the first 60 months for the Chevy Silverado 2500. Come and check out all the inventory on the lot. Thank you to Jerry. Thank you to Glenn Smith. And here is our interview with Coke to wrap up the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show.
Hey everybody, hot summer prices have dropped at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Drive home today in a brand new Chevy Silverado with savings up to $15,000 off MSRP. Or get 0% financing for 60 months. Need more power? New Silverado 2500 HD with savings up to $12,000 off MSRP. Or get 4.9% financing for 60 months. Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone. Thrift Behringer here at Coca-Cola United, and I am with the sales center manager and my good friend, Garrett Payton. Garrett, thank you so much for allowing us to be here, man.
Good to see you guys.
All right, so it's been about a year and a half in this job, but over the last several months, you've been able to move, get ingratiated with the community. How has that been as you've become a part of this Tri-City area?
You know, it's been it's been busy. It's been good. Finally getting here, getting settled. I think last time we did this interview, I was just closing on a house, getting in. So, you know, working hard, getting out there. Still learning our community. Still learning our even some of our employees. You know, building our relationships. Here at Coke, everything's about relationships, and so you know, enjoyed the last year together with you. But just an opportunity. Still working hard to get out there and get to know the people.
What is your ultimate goal when you took on this job here in this community that you wanted to do? And do you feel like you've been able to do that these last couple of months? I feel like, is it put more of a face out there for everybody, and Coke's here and we love Columbus?
Yeah, I would tell you our culture. Our culture internally inside these walls, right, and then our culture outside here. So, you know, if we can have a great culture inside here, then that can resonate out in our community. So, we want our community to know that we care about them, we love them, and you know it takes. You know, I think our guys do a really good job with that, but you know, relationships are lifelong.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
They don't ever stop. So it's something that you continue to work on, continue to build up, and we just want to really I want to make sure I'm affirming with what I can do that we have great relationships and that the people see us out there and that know that it's just more than this incredible brand that we get to represent here every day.
Right, and again, I want to say thank you so much for you believing in us, man. Having the Coke name, it just means something more. There's no doubt. When I can go to other schools, businesses, whatever it may be, and saying we are sponsored and supported by Coke, that is a big deal, especially what Coke has meant to this community for such a long time, man. So I want to say thank you so much. Do you feel like the partnership has been beneficial on your side? Obviously, from our side, we're super excited about year number 2, but how did year number 1, in your opinion, go with us, man?
I tell you, the thing that I'm impressed with the most is the personal touch. I'll tell you that it is incredible to have one of the most recognized brands in the world, right? But okay, what's next?
Right.
So with the personal touch, who's behind the brand, the name, and the partners?
Right.
So I would tell you that what we've built together, the love, the relationships,
No doubt.
not just me and you, but that are deeper with our employees and the folks, the other partners that you have in the schools. And so those have been able to resonate with this partnership that we have. So
Right.
it has been it's been incredible, man. And we don't do this kind of stuff a whole lot locally. It's
Right.
just just kind of our thing. But we believe in you guys, and it's been special. And you got a lot of energy. Around here they tell me I'm all gas, no brakes, and that's kind of a little bit of a thing around here that they laugh at me. But you got that same energy. So we want to go hard. We want to love people. We want to have great relationships.
No doubt.
And we want to sell Cokes, but my opinion is if we have a great culture and a great relationship and work with each other, then all that stuff comes.
Right.
And that's what, for the last year, that's been what I've experienced. And honestly, man, I'll keep it 100 with you. We spot check you, go out checking out your games, and you're showing us a lot of love out there, and I can't thank you enough for it.
I appreciate that, Garrett. And it was literally a year ago we started having conversations about this potential partnership, and it has been a lot of fun, man. And your sons are going to school around this area. The reason I bring your children up is because how has that been like? And learning this community. It's a tight-knit group, but sometimes from the outside, people may hear some of the negative things around this community. There's a lot of positive, man. It's a great place to live. How do you feel like that this last year has been for your family to get ingratiated in this area?
I could tell you, I have two sons that just finished up their sophomore and sixth grade year, and I could tell you that my wife ain't moving. She loves this community, and we love it here, and the school systems, and we have been, we've been loved. We've been appreciated. They've kind of tucked us in,
right?
And that's what you want when you go to a, it's big but it's small, right? Kind of like you kind of said that, and so you want to be tucked in, and you want to be, you don't want to be it's uncomfortable being the new face sometimes, especially when you're that young, and it's been my kids love it, my wife loves
awesome,
it,
man.
So it's been great. It's been really, really great for us. Very, very excited about our future here.
When you see how athletics is a big deal in this area, you're a former athlete.
Big deal.
But yeah. You probably didn't know how big of a deal it was until this last year, seeing it with us and seeing how this community, there is a major support for high school athletics, middle school, heck, going all the way down to the little leagues, man. They really care about athletics here. Do you think it's another reason why this has worked too? Because people care about sports in this area, man.
Sports, it's not a cliche. Sports gives a lot of lessons, and people love sports.
Yeah, they
and
do,
so,
man.
going really back to that personal touch is what the stuff that you guys are providing is the I guess, lack of better words, the transparency. People can go on your platform and they can see everything that you're supporting. We can see what's going on and see these kids that we didn't get to have.
No,
but
you can't go back in the day.
I know you're a lot younger than I am,
right.
but you probably had a cell phone when you were in kindergarten. But just going back and having that platform that these parents and these students can go watch and see on live some of the cool things that they were able to accomplish on the fields.
No doubt,
and family and that brings positive energy with the fans and the families, which resonates into the schools, and the schools are happy. It's a win-win. It really is. It's a cool idea, and it's exciting for us. I don't know how else to say it.
I appreciate that, man. And looking forward again to year number 2 with Coke here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Now, I do want to have you an opportunity for those in the community that maybe want to come work for Coke. United want to come and be a driver or whatever else that you have and opportunities here, how can they go about doing that, man?
Yeah, man, appreciate that opportunity. I was kind of surprised, but you give me the platform, right? Well, we're always looking for help. One thing I love about our company is, you know, we do a really good job of promoting within, and I'm proud of that. But we're looking for, you know, the folks that are leaders in our company started, you know, stocking shelves, delivering drinks, those kind of jobs, and those jobs are usually we're always looking for some help in that. So they can go online, Coca-ColaUnited.com, and they can put an application there, or they can just come up to the front door, and we can guide them that way as well. But or you can give them my number. It doesn't matter. My office is in the corner right here.
Dude,
Just
you're
tell
an open book, man.
Just tell them we work hard. You know, that's the thing. I kind of tell new employees, these younger, this little bit younger generation, that we get down. That's what I try. That's the only way I know how to resonate with them. You know, is we get down. But here if you work hard, and you know, we have core values that we align by and we work by every single day. And if you can carry yourself, we're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna mess up. That's life.
Right.
But if you come in here and you work hard and you have a good attitude and you can communicate, you know, just in the right manner, you can be a sales center manager one day. And I'm nothing special. I don't want to take any credit for any of that. But man, 24 years ago, stocking shelves, I never thought I'd be sitting in this chair, you know, thinking about sports. I feel like a professional athlete. I really do. In the world, I love this company. Coca-Cola United is incredible, and it's just it's a family owned.
That's awesome.
You know, family that loves their employees, but we work hard.
Yeah,
we work hard.
Do you think that helped you, man? Being able to start from the bottom and work your way up has allowed you to grow as not as a professional, but as a man too?
There's no question. You can't lead people if you never experienced that.
What they're going through, man.
That kind of work. I mean, you know, it's America 250 coming up, right? It's July 4th. We're selling drinks, and it's hot, and
right.
And we're thankful for that. But it takes a lot of work, and we have a lot of really great employees that give everything they got, you know, and just so thankful for them. Couldn't do it without them.
Well, Garrett, thank you for our partnership.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for believing.
You guys are awesome.
You've come here. You didn't know anything about this area and willing to listen to me and talk and believe in something that was really an idea that was growing, but it ain't what it's hopefully going to become and what it is right now. So thank you again for your believing.
Well, you know, let me say this. I genuinely appreciate that, but I'll tell you, you know, really props to you, because our employees already knew about you. So the work that you've done is, you know, we're just experiencing the fruit.
Right.
So our team and our leaders already knew about Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and so you know, for me it was a no-brainer. So thank you for the kind words, but you know, the work that you guys have put in has been remarkable.
His name's Garrett Payton, representing Coke, Georgia Alabama Sports Live for many more years.
Yeah, come see us.
Yeah, come hang out. Coca-Cola United Company here.
Yes,
Georgia
sir.
Alabama Sports Live. We'll see you next time.